Oh, hey guys, look at this. This is a KSG 410, the baby little sister of the KSG 12 gauge. Let's take a look at it. Now, I never really imagined me ever getting a caliber in 410, but if you remember, I have a Rossi Brawler single shot 45 long cold pistol, and that also shoots 410. So I have some 410 laying around, and then so I started thinking, what about a shotgun in 410? And since kel-tec is one of my favorite kind of shotgun platforms, because I really love the KSG bullpup platform, they came out with this 410, which seems perfect even for you know, training little kids or training your children or anybody else who doesn't want to get a lot of that recoil. Try this KSG 410. Now this comes with a handle, and pretty much this handle has your sights in it, and so I'm really curious about, you know, are all of my shots going to be 2 inches high basically? And if I don't like it, if I can't get used to it, I'm probably going to take this off and go back to a rail. They have a rail option. But let's go ahead and do some firing of this. I've never shot this gun. I lubed it up, I cleaned it up, I polished the barrel with some JB Bore Bright. If you guys know what that is, that's some amazing stuff. But let's go ahead and load some up. I do have some various types of ammunition over here. We've got various shots of Birdshot 2.5-inch shells, 2.5-inch shells. These are slugs, and yeah, more slugs. And then we've got some of this Winchester Defender, which is something I really wanted to try out ever since I first saw it, but never had a 410 years ago. So let's try this out, and I'm probably going to try it out in the Rossi Brawler as well and see how this performs and see what it looks like on paper. So I don't really plan to do a chronograph of this. If you guys want to see that, maybe with some slugs or something like that, let me know. But I don't know if it's too necessary. I just want to see how this shoots, how it patterns, how it feels. How easy is it to reload and maybe switch the magazine tubes? Because what's really great about this, just like its big brother, is it also has 2 magazine tubes, and it should be 6+1, I believe, with these 410 shells. We're gonna have to go ahead and try, and then yeah, slide these over left and right depending on which tube you want to use. I probably will keep it using the left tube because I'm right-handed, and so when I need to switch over, it's just easy for me to move my thumb over like that to move it that way, this way, instead of the other way. But you can also get extenders on here that you can bump that with your wrist. Let's go ahead and load some up, and I'll come back to you guys. Now, I did take a class shooting the KSG 12 gauge or 12 gauge defensive course, basically where you learn how to reload quickly under pressure and move side to side, all that stuff. And one way I found really easy to reload a KSG, and this 410 applies as well, is since I want to load up this tube here, I'm going to set that on the bottom, drop my round in like that, and then slide it in. So if you're doing it upside down and everything like this, you're kind of fumbling or whatever, trying to get it into the right slot. But if you have it laying down kind of like this, let gravity help you out and just slide it in there. So I just put in 7 on one tube, and no more will fit. So you can fill up the other tube. I'll just put a couple in there just to try this out. But these are standard, let's see, 2.5-inch shells of some 410, 1300 feet per second, 7.5 shots. So let's go ahead and try it. That is nothing. Wow. Okay. I will show you guys maybe a closer detail about how to sight this in, or not really sight it in, but what you have to do. So this is your rear sight. It's just a post, and then you have this triangular front sight. Now the bottom of that triangle should sit right on the top of this rear post when you're shooting it. So that way, hopefully you're on target. And I'm gonna go get the paper real quick and check it out with some slugs. Oh, I forgot. I only put 2 shots in that last tube, and I forgot to switch it back over to use up the other magazine tube. So let's go ahead and do that. We're good now. So you can reload that easily. Now I do notice when you put your cheek on here, sometimes you might get a kick in your cheek, but you know, you're just gonna have to man up on that, and it's not that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and get some paper, check out these sights, and see and analyze, I guess, basically how far off you might be. Okay, I still got the Birdshot in the KSG 410, and I got a target set up not too far away. This looks like 10 yards. Let's just see what the pattern is like out of this 18-inch barrel with these whatchamacallits, Winchester AA sporting clay shells are actually 7.5 shot, okay? Now, I'm not sure if I have a live one in there or not. Okay, that one was spent. Okay. Actually, don't reload it like this, because now you got to jam. Not the gun's fault, user error. Okay, here we go. 10 yards, triangle right on the top of the rear post, aiming at the center of the target. Okay, let's go take a look at it, guys. 10 yards, I was aiming here. As you can see, most of my shot or pattern is lower. Why? Probably because you have that 2 inches height above the barrel when you're shooting. So you're really going to have to pay attention to that. The height difference between here and your barrel. Right here is your barrel, which hasn't gotten really too hot yet. And it's interesting, this is more exposed than on the KSG 12 gauge. But yeah, you got this height difference here, so you're gonna have to account for that. And yeah, once you do, then it should be fine. If not, you're probably gonna have to take that off and put your Picatinny rail on here like the KSG 12 gauge has, and that'll probably set you up a little bit better for success. Okay, so I got another round in here, right? Let's aim. I'm gonna try to compensate and see how the pattern adjusts. I mean, it should, obviously, right, if you're aiming higher. But there's my center point. Now I'm going to go up to the middle of the top target between the 2 targets. I'll show you that here in a bit. And let's shoot. Let's go take a look. It looks a lot better, guys. Keep that in mind if you're going to use Birdshot, clay shots or whatever. I was aiming a lot at this plane right here, pretty much here, and you can see most of my previous shots were all under this orange line here. Right now we've got a much better spread here. So this is a 410 wad, so you can ignore that. Okay, we'll try a couple different slugs here. We've got the Remington Express rifled slug. This doesn't really have much data on here. It's a 2.5 inch slug, 1/5 ounce. And yeah, 410 gauge. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to go online really to see what the velocities of this are, or I do have a chronograph. We could check that out, but like I said, I don't know if it makes sense to do much chrono on this. Then this is the Winchester SuperX, popular round or ammunition, right? 410 gauge, 2.5 inches in shells, and 1830 feet per second on the velocity. Same 1/5 ounce slug. So let's go ahead and try one of each at my, we're gonna call it my original, I don't know, let's say point of aim, and see where point of impact is. I'll be aiming at the center target, see if this drops up or down, or if it's even on target. Who knows, maybe the Birdshot is just an outlier, but yeah, I'm doubting that. We're gonna find out. Pretty sure with the slugs, we're gonna see the same thing where both shots are gonna be pretty low. And here we go, aiming at the center of the target. There we go. Now before I shoot the next one, let's go find out so we don't get confused what it looks like. Now I did say one of them was a 410 wad, right? That was that, I'm pretty sure, right? So the new shot is here. I was shooting here, so the rifled slug entered here, and that's probably the wad right there. So anyway, you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 inch drop just by aiming at the center here with that handle sight. So let's go ahead and see what the next one is. Okay, that one will be the green one. So the first one that we just shot was this Winchester SuperX. Let's go ahead and try these Remington ones. All right, Remington slug. I'm gonna shoot or aim at the same one so that we compare apples to apples. And then I'll do my holdover adjustment with the same round to see how it looks, okay? Okay, we are clear. Let's go check it out. Okay, it looks a lot better, right? A little bit. This is the Remington, 1, 2, 3 inches low, which is 2 inches higher improvement than the Winchester. Sorry, did I say this is Remington, the green round, the green shell, right? 3 inches lower now, so we're improving. And this is the previous shot, the first shot with the Winchester, okay? Let's go ahead and try it again. I'm gonna aim up here again like I did with the Birdshot, and we're gonna see if we can get closer to the middle here. We're gonna do the Remington first, because that's the first one that I just loaded up in here, and then we'll switch over to the Winchester and check it out. So again, this time, now I'm gonna aim up at the top 2 little diamonds, but in the middle of them. See how we do here, just to kind of figure out what the holdover should be if you wanna know where you're aiming when you shoot this. That is really weird. It's actually at the height that I was wanting to hit. Let's try it again. That one, don't even know where it went. We're gonna try that again. I'm gonna tape up the holes. Let me show you guys real quick. I'm gonna tape up the holes here just to make sure, because now I can't remember where is what. That's the first shot I took with the green round Remington. I was aiming here and it was hitting here. These are all previous shots. So let's go ahead and tape this up and do that again. All right, it's do or die with this one because this is the last green shell I have of Remington rifled slugs here. We'll put that in first, which means the first shot now is going to be the Winchester rifled slug. And I taped up the holes. Let's find out. I'm going to do the holdover again at the top of the target and see where it goes. Okay, I will keep that in mind. Okay, let's go ahead and put the Winchester in. Now we'll do the Winchester, okay? All right, go take a look at it. So I'm not really sure what's going on here, but let's take a look here. Put tape on all the other previous ones. This was the first shot, which was the Remington green one, right? And then this was my Winchester one. I was aiming basically here, like this was the bottom. This is where my rear sight post was at. Okay, so I was 1.5 inches low on the first shot and about 2 inches low on the second one. Look at this, guys. Found a wad, all torn to pieces basically, and that's from the 410. Pretty neat. You can see how the edge of the wad is all grimed up from spinning or going through the barrel, the smoothbore barrel. Okay, so what does all that mean that we just did today? Basically, what we're saying here is that this is probably going to adjust or affect your accuracy depending on what you want to use it for, right? Wherever you're aiming here, you're always going to be lower. We've never had any shots or showed any evidence here that your point of aim is your point of impact here with these sights being offset at least 2 inches here off the barrel here, right? So take that into consideration when you're shooting. If you're using it for home defense, it's probably not going to matter so much because, you know, if you aim center mass, you've got plenty of, you know, territory there to hit your target. In any case, I think, let's see, right now I'll probably live with this, see if I can get used to it. I don't hate it right now. I do like having, I don't know, I don't have a gun with a carry handle, but this is pretty nice, lightweight and everything, easy to carry. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's not going to break because you have a fixed sight and you don't have to worry about having an optic or anything like that. But you could get a Picatinny rail with your flip up sights or something like that, which then you'll probably be off by about an inch on the barrel height, but at least that's something that you can adjust. You can adjust those types of sights. This sight is not adjustable at all. What you have is what you get. So you just got to pay attention to that. You're always going to be a little bit lower than where you're aiming, okay? Now, with that said, this is not a bad gun. I really loved it. It had no malfunctions. If I did, they were just user or human error. But other than that, I'm hoping that we can get a V6 muzzle brake for that, just like I have for the KSG 12 gauge and the ATI Bulldog 12 gauge. So if we can maybe get a muzzle brake for that, that'd be cool. Even though the recoil is not that much, but the muzzle brake just kind of helps it out. And I think, you know, it just makes it look kind of cool too. Maybe we can put a 12 gauge one on there. We just need some thread adapters, right? And it should work just as well. Maybe not as effective because, you know, if you make stuff specific for calibers, it's much better, right? In general, after lubing this up, this is super easy to rack the slide, maybe a little bit easier than the 12 gauge. And one thing to point out when racking the slide here, I usually hold the gun like this with my elbow out, you know, and when I rack the slide, I do notice that I'm pushing the muzzle to the right a little bit and then bringing it back with my hand, right? So if you go like this though, up and down more of a, like this, then your muzzle's going up and down like that. But anyway, pay attention to how you're reloading it to see if you can get back on target the way you want and just train and practice that way. Other than that, I did notice that the grip is a little bit thinner than the KSG 12 gauge, and there's a couple other things on here that are similar and different, but I think I will do a different video for that called the KSG 12 gauge versus the 410, and let's go there to finish that topic. Overall, really great gun, easy to tear down. It's very, very similar to the KSG 12 gauge as far as doing that. And yeah, you won't have any problems with that if you're very familiar with the 12 gauge. This gun I would recommend for anybody, pretty much. I mean, anybody that doesn't want to, manage a lot of recoil with 12 gauge or 20 gauges. This would work pretty good, I think, for any kind of defensive use or a range toy too. It's always going to work because it's a pump action and not semi-automatic. So you'll always have that reliability as well. So anything else? If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. Any feedback, let me know. And I'll talk to you guys later. See you next time.